Good morning again.
Good morning.
My name is Paul Hietter, and I am your religious science practitioner this morning. We've shared this month about being mindful, and I talked about laundry. We shared about practicing stillness, and I spoke of how to go within. We talked last week about being the light and finding the light, and that the light is not out there, it's in here. And today we'll speak a little bit about the spiritual path and the spiritual path that meditation can take you on. I watched Superman last night, yesterday afternoon, and I don't know about you, but I love superhero movies. And I get very excited, and I cry, and I laugh, and I have all these emotions that go all through me. And today feels very much like that. I think life is like that. A movie tends to concentrate us into that one space. But from our book, there's an example from Joseph Campbell. And a story, and it's called The Hero's Quest. And Joseph Campbell is a famous anthropologist. He's devoted to the study of myths and legends. And, you know, storytelling is how we prepare ourselves to do life's journey and how we prepare ourselves to practice. I heard one time, storytelling is like data with a soul. So in that, the story is, and there are about 5 things here that he talks about, the longing. So what motivates the hero? And I like to look at that as purpose. The search, determined to find happiness and to satisfy longing. What is that purpose and what is the search that we're on? And that I like to think of as hope and faith. We believe that there's something. The struggle. Search brings us to gain and loss. It brings us to pleasure and it brings us to pain. It brings us to hope and despair. A struggle to achieve, and sometimes for me it's a struggle to avoid loss, because we don't want that in our lives. And I call that powerlessness. We are powerless. And then the disillusionment. A crisis happens, it shatters our heroes' faith and hopes and dreams. Everything feels like it's falling apart. A time of grieving can be a humbling experience, and I know many of you have experienced that, and I can tell you that I have done that as well. But it takes a hero out of that struggle and moves us into a place of safety, even though we're disillusioned, because we're in that space. We can look at it as a blessing in disguise. There is something we can learn from the experience that we're creating. And I know for myself, when I look at reassessing what that struggle was about, I can create different priorities for myself. I can create a different value in my life. I can find out what's important and who's important, who my family and friends are, who I can depend and who I can count on, and that means the world to me. And this is the place that we're at choice, because we can choose to go to the struggle, or we can choose to go to something called the homecoming. And the homecoming is that stage that the hero stops searching and stops struggling toward this imagined dream of fulfillment. And the homecoming is when we arrive here and now, in this very moment. And our meditation practices, that's where we're trying to get. We're not trying to imagine what's out here. We're trying to get to that place of here and now, so that we might be in a place of acceptance, that we might be in a place that there's real happiness and real contentment. And that's where the place that faith lies. Our psalm talks about a demonstration, because I think that's what it's about ultimately. We can pray, we can meditate, but what is it about? A demonstration. A demonstration is made when the thing is accomplished which the one treating desires to achieve, whether it is health, happiness, or abundance. A demonstration is the manifestation. It is a prayer answered or a phone call. It should be understood that we can demonstrate in spite of ourselves. So it doesn't matter that we feel weak. It doesn't matter if we have fear. It does not matter that there is anything going on. There is a power in truth. And with that truth, there is a possibility of demonstrating. It depends on our belief. And for me, my belief comes in powerfully Because if I believe it, I can have it. I've always been a powerful creator and a manifester. I've not always been able to hold on to something, but I know how to create it. And I've had a healing in my life. And it started about a year ago. And I received a diagnosis that I did not want. And it's been a long, long journey to come to this place. I have to tell you, and I don't mean to be emotional, but I knew when I was going to talk today, and I knew this early in the month, that I would use the experience of my own journey and bring it into a place with this meditation and this practice that would allow me the opportunity to find a blessing in disguise. And that's what life is about. It is about finding the grace within a situation, letting go of the problem, letting go of all the outside world in which I've had to do over the last few months. Nothing else mattered but me and my health. Absolutely nothing. Now, how does that work in the real world? I'm not really sure. I'm not back in it yet. I have a feeling there'll be a re-entry, struggle, and anxiety, and yet there is no anxiety because we know that that's the truth. The truth is always what sets us free, and the truth is where we can experience love. It's where we can experience our expression of spirit. It's where we allow ourselves to be connected and feel closer to God. The book also talks about what meditation creates, and I looked at this as a great way to sum up some things. It creates connection. I've had to reach out to my community and my friends and my family. It enables us to be aware of the good in ourselves and in the good in others and the good in life. Because how often do we feel despair and we forget of the good? We focus on the things that don't feel good, but we forget the good. It awakens our sense of gratitude. And it's not just Superman movies that I cry at. I cry at every single movie I've been watching. There's this overwhelming sense of gratitude, this sense of gratitude, this sense of gratitude. It just keeps coming in and coming in and coming in. And finally, it opens our heart with love and compassion for ourselves, for others, and for all living things. When we talk about equality for all, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at what it feels like to experience peace. We're looking at what it feels like to experience joy. What really matters in your life? What is it that you need to do today that really is important? And what can fall by the wayside? There is much love here. There is great love here. Every single day of the week in this community, there's love to be found every time you walk in through that door, and you can find that in any New Thought church that you walk through. And there's great love in your life, whether you see it or not. It's around you. You just happen to open your eyes. I had the experience of having my eyes opened, and now I can see. So let's go within. Soften your gaze or close your eyes, whatever is most comfortable, allowing the next minute of silence. Settling into that secret, sacred place, that place that I call God, that place that I know love resides, peace resides, spirit resides always. And as God is, I am, that divine expression in whom God speaks. And I recognize today that our service is supported in all ways, from our greeters and our ushers, from our musicians, from our guests. Sherry Deeds, who's here with us today, for all that work in the kitchen and the office, for our practitioners, for our ministers, and for Dr. Michael, whom the word is spoken today, and whom Spirit moves in and through as him and is him and is him. And I speak my word today, knowing that love is the order of the day, that healing is possible through the stillness that we find within our hearts, that as we are mindful of all that we are and all that we do, there is no need for worry or anxiety. We release that into the universe, allowing God to guide us and Spirit to support us in all that we are. So knowing that there is great love and great thanksgiving, and believing that it is already done in the mind of God, I release these words into law, relaxing into that experience where I know God has already heard them. And if you are in agreement with me and care to join me, please join by saying, and so it is. So, if you would come back into the room, wherever you've been. Namaste.